that there's no one meaning you can put on Stonehenge. I don't think there's a single syllable answer you could throw at it. So I'm a Stonehenge Druid of the Aesdana Grove. It's a meeting place, it's a great calendar, it's a temple. It's a living space where people come together at very significant times to do very significant things. Some of those are spiritual and some of those are practical. And the landscape is just showing that every time we think we know the answer, we find there's more to the question. Druidry is about becoming synchronised with nature, being the priest of nature, but also with the ancestors. Stonehenge itself, it's a monumental achievement in terms of the artistic ability, the technical ability, the understanding of our ancestors, and we feel that here they're talking to us, and that by having our rituals and celebrations here, we're part of the cycles which they were part of. There's a lot more to the Stonehenge landscape and environment than just Stonehenge itself. So to the left of Stonehenge, you have the Heelstone, and the Heelstone is what the sunrise on the summer solstice will shine across the top of that into the stone circle itself. Just slightly to the east, you see a line of burial mounds. They're either late Neolithic or early Bronze Age. They essentially are part of a landscape where there are dozens of these very special ancestors. We don't know an awful lot about them, but they're buried all over the landscape. Shifting around the horizon line, where you see there's a gap in the trees there, that's the end of a very mysterious straight line feature which is much older than Stonehenge, maybe another 1,000 years older, called the Cursus. I think some of the first archaeologists to notice it thought that there would be chariot racing there because of its long shape and its banks and ditches on either side. And you can walk across this landscape quite freely, there's no charge, and you can walk the length of the Cursus. And I haven't done this yet, but it runs along the tree line behind us to the north of Stonehenge. And just over to the northwest, we see another line of burial mounds. These are known as the King's Burrows. You can just see that their presence on the horizon is almost saying, we are the ancestors, we're watching you. So we're literally surrounded by our ancestors. They're beneath our feet and all around us. We're on the outskirts of Amesbury, and we're actually stood in a very, very special place, because where we're standing right now, and beneath our feet, is the beginnings of the avenue that led up to Stonehenge in ancient times. If the Riverside project are correct, then the priests and priestesses would have landed in their boats behind us. And if you look through the gate and across the fields, this is the actual ancient avenue way. Probably on the winter solstice, they would have processed up on their way to Stonehenge. The most important thing about this site for Druids is that potentially it connects the Druids, which were talked about in Celtic times, back through the Bronze Age to the Mesolithic period when Stonehenge was built. And the reason for that is the Stonehenge here was built before the big Stonehenge. It was used for several hundred years. Then deliberately the stones were popped vertically out of the ground and taken probably to Stonehenge. The ditch and bank around the henge were then filled in quite deliberately. It was hidden. 1,500 years and the entire Bronze Age go past. You would think they would forget about it. However, the people at the time managed to remember about this secret hidden henge, go back and reconstitute it at the end of the Bronze Age, beginning of the Iron Age, and start using it again, putting wooden posts back in place of the stones that were there before, and that's the Druid period that we all accept. There's a passing on of knowledge over 1,500 years, spanning the whole Bronze Age, between our Stone Age ancestors who built Stonehenge and the Druid ancestors who wrote down the folklore that we now take from Ireland and Scotland and Wales. And that means that that folklore possibly has earlier origins going right back, and we should now be looking at it as a serious study, and we shouldn't be laughing at the Druids with their connection to Stonehenge anymore. The Bluestonehenge stood there up against those trees. The tree lines actually mark the centre of the circle. The far side is actually on the riverbank now, and the near side is what was excavated a few months ago. The River Avon flows behind that. It's very, very beautiful. It just meanders along. All rivers in the ancient world, in the sacred landscape, are sacred in themselves. They carry the life force of the Earth Mother. The source of most rivers are considered to have a goddess present, where people would hang rags on trees as little gifts. The other interesting thing about British rivers is that their names are the oldest words in our language. So for example, here we are on the Avon, the River Severn. Names like that are pre-Celtic and possibly 7,000 years old. And they've survived all the incursions and different cultures that have come. We've never changed the name of our rivers. So they're sacred places, they're places of spirit, And it's very easy to imagine people getting very excited on the eve of summer or winter solstice, floating in their boats, disembarking here, lighting a great bonfire and sitting in their standing stone circle, gathering in the energies and focus of the ancestors before processing up to the great henge. For us as Druids, Arthur Kaz and myself, we came here and we did a very simple little ceremony. We didn't want to interrupt the magic of the place. It's been untouched since it was last covered up. So anything up to 5,000 years since priests last operated here. So we just spoke to the ancestors and just said, we really honour you. We're still trying to learn from you, and what we do learn we'll pass on to future generations with honour and truth.